what I want to do here is I want to, yes, I'm going to support you, and yes, I'm going to make you comfortable, but I also want to guide you, right? I had my own journey, and that journey was tough. It was not easy. I worked for it. I fell a few times, but, I lived to see another day.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the newest episode of the Ionavation Podcast. And for this episode, we have our very own Jade Estremera, the new Student Engagement Coordinator here at the Hynes Institute for Entrepreneurship and Innovation. Jade, it's great to have you on.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Thank you so much.
Of course. And right now, we're going to ask Jade about who she is and really how she got into the entrepreneurship space. So first, Jade, tell our audience, who are you?
So I am a proud Latina from Harlem, New York. I have a background in higher education for about 4 years now. So my goal is to support students because I was once a student myself, and I think that that's the goal at this time, in this period of time. I'm just excited to be here.
It's good you mentioned higher education because you do have a lot of experience in student admissions, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk about what brought you into student admissions. Why did you choose to go into higher education specifically and then work in admissions offices?
So again, being a student myself, I felt like I had support, but I would have wanted a little bit more support. And I think that when I attended college myself, I didn't see a lot of people that looked like me. I went to a predominantly white institution, and I learned a lot, but I just didn't feel like I belonged there, so I had to make space for myself. And I feel like while that can still be what students do, right, make space for themselves because they should be doing that, they should also feel comfortable that and confident that there are others who also do the same thing. So I started in admissions, wanting to just support students getting into colleges, learning about colleges, right? That's something that they learn in high school. There aren't a lot of resources in Harlem, New York, unfortunately, for students who are looking to go to college. So I wanted to make that priority. And I felt like I was working with students and I was sending them off, right, into their college career. And then I would see them when they graduated. And it's nice to see them when they graduate, but I want to be there along the journey with them. So that's why I'm here now as the new Student Engagement Coordinator, wanting to support you throughout your whole entire college career.
I want to highlight something you said, making that space. One of the biggest things as an entrepreneur is really finding not only your space, but your own niche, where you can fit in,
right,
and really create that demand or that need for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my next question goes to, why did you choose entrepreneurship? You started off in higher education admissions,
mm-hmm,
but then you went into more of an entrepreneurial aspect. How did that translate?
Well, so as an admissions advisor, you have a specific territory, you have a specific population of students that you're working with, right? My territory was Long Island students, right? The population was traditional students, high school students, right? Mm-hmm. So that was my business, right? That was my business to take on by myself. I had to focus on what their needs were, what majors they had wanted, what was the most popular major there, that we also would provide for them, and their resources that they were looking for. So that was my business, and I felt like I built those organizational skills to kind of have what the students needed, what their majors that they wanted, and things like that, right? And relationship building. That was the most important aspect of being an admissions advisor. You want to make sure that you're building trust with students so that you're not just recruiting, right? And I use recruiting lightly because as an admissions advisor, you are recruiting. Right. However, it's more about educating students, right? I was letting students know, hey, this is what we provide here, this is what we offer, but I'm trying to pull you in, but I'm not going to force it. I can't want it more for you than you want it for yourself. My job is to educate you, support you, and provide those resources. So that's what brought me into the entrepreneurship realm.
Yeah, exactly. So I think what you pointed out right there, the resources, right? Providing the resources, being that support to help build other people up, that's
mm-hmm,
a key aspect that really linked that. But I do want to also focus on your background, right? So you mentioned that you're a Latina, right? So how did that identity really make you want to help others and give back to the community, both in your time as a student admissions counselor as well as our new student engagement coordinator?
Well, like I mentioned, there's not a lot of resources, especially in high schools, and it's really unfortunate. But the goal at this point in time, right, you can do anything. the commonest misconception is that you don't need college, right?
Right.
You can do anything. You can be a content creator. You can be go viral for anything and make money, right? There's a whole bunch of different things to do. There's a lot of different careers. But my thing has always been education is important, right? That's something that you can fall back on. It's important to be able to educate others and be educated. So again, in schools, there's most likely one advisor that's helping a whole list of students, right? And it's hard to focus on one student that might want, have 5 different things in mind that they want to do, right? It's hard to navigate that as an advisor in a high school. You're dealing with a whole population of students. So I think that it's important when it comes to resources to make sure that in that transition from high school to college, you still have that extra piece from someone in higher education, right? Because you have someone who's there to support you with that just has the background and knowledge for that.
So exactly, that one point where students have so many desires and needs, that I want to really pin down because, especially on our campus, a lot of student entrepreneurs have to balance classes, their own business, if they even want to start a business at all. So I want to focus more on your role now as student engagement coordinator. Now, what is a student engagement coordinator?
So my role is to support, to make you feel comfortable, to provide those resources. Again, it's it's challenging to be in a college setting as a freshman, still trying to navigate and still transitioning into that young adult, right? And so what I want to do here is I want to, yes, I'm going to support you, and yes, I'm going to make you comfortable, but I also want to guide you, right? I had my own journey, and that journey was tough. It was not easy. I worked for it. I fell a few times, but, I lived to see another day.
Right, exactly.
So, that's just the kind of mentality that I want to provide for students because, again, I know it's hard. I've been there. I started college as a marketing major. I hated it. I hated it so much just because I'm not a math person. I don't like numbers.
Same here.
And then I had an advisor who guided me. She pointed me to the right directions, and I still keep in contact with her till this day, but she was the only person that was there for me. And I will be the only person, but there's other people here at the Hynes Institute that is also there for students. So I want to just be that addition, but also just focus on student, one by one.
I like you mentioned mentorship though. Like you mentioned how a mentor comforted you through a period of transition in your own life. How would you say you'd approach all students at Iona, regardless if they're an entrepreneur or not, about how entrepreneurship may help them and help them through their time at Iona, regardless of whether or not they're an entrepreneurship major?
Yeah. Well, think about what an entrepreneur is, right? There are so many different character traits or different. Look at this board back here. Entrepreneurs are, right? They're creative. They're innovative. They're resilient, right? There's so many different character traits, and I think that just having that mindset and not just thinking, oh, I don't have a business, so I'm not an entrepreneur, right? No, but you're creative.
Exactly.
But you're resilient. And what do you do in your personal life that is your own, that is yours, right? That you own by yourself. So I want to bring that.
I wanted to nail that down specifically because there's this misconception, as our audience may know, that entrepreneurship is just for business owners or that you have to be business-minded to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
You highlighted perfectly, Jade, that it's a lifestyle. It's a mindset rather than having a business or not.
Right.
So with that being said, what is your advice to aspiring entrepreneurs like our audience members or even entrepreneurs who are just getting started? What is your advice to them on their journey?
I think just keep your grit. Keep your grit because grit, when I was in college, I had this suck it up and get some grit mentality. That was my mentality, right? Because again, you fall and you can fall 20 times, but I'm still going to get up and I'm still going to go for it. I'm never going to give up because again, everyone's journey is different and it's not easy. If it was easy, that means that everyone can do it. And if everyone can do it, then maybe that's not something that I want.
Right.
Because I will never grow.
Exactly, Jade. Growth. As an entrepreneur, you have to be ready to accept failure and turn failure into lessons. That is 100% what an entrepreneur should be applying to their own lives. And honestly, I should be doing more often. Thank you, Jade, so much.
Thank you.
Jade, where can our audience members find you?
So you can email me. You can also find my link on Calendly, but most importantly, you can find me at the Hynes Institute in Spelman Hall on the 2nd floor.
We'll have your Calendly linked in this video as well as in the description. Thank you, Jade, so much again for having us.
Thank you so much.
And I've been Adrian, your host for the Ionavation Podcast. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.